What is going on, guys? My name is AK, back again with another YouTube video. Now in today's video we're going through the updates made to the Call of Duty competitive rule set as of last night, January the 18th. We've had some maps taken out of the rotation, we've had control put in. I'll be going through the maps that's being played on, the maps that have been taken out. But hopefully you guys are going to enjoy today's video. If you do, be sure to drop a like and let's get straight into it. So here we are on competitive settings. As you can see, as of January the 18th, we've had competitive settings version 1.2 come out, and in that they've added competitive settings for control, as well as updated the map veto process. So the first thing to point out here is the maps and modes list. This is where the changes have happened. As you can see, Search and Destroy is now being played on Tuscan, Bockage, Desert Siege and Berlin, removing Damansk from the rotation that was in there before. Now, if you guys have watched my 2K streams, you'll know I'm quite happy about that. We've lost Damansk S&D round 11 twice in map 3 for top 64 for the Challengers Cup, so I'm glad that one's gone. Wasn't really my favourite map, never really felt I could get anything going on that map. Just yeah, didn't really work for me. Then on the hardpoint side of things, the map set has been moved down to Tuscan, Bockage, Gav and Berlin. Desert Siege there being taken out. I don't know how I feel as much about that one. I didn't mind Desert Siege hardpoint. It wasn't the most amazing thing ever, but as an automaton player, I don't mind that long range. I don't like Gav personally. I think that is an awful map. So I would have preferred to see Gav taken out and Desert Siege remain. But again, Gav and Desert Siege were the worst two maps in the rotation personally, in my opinion. So to at least see one of them gone, I'm happy with that. And then finally, in this final column, we have Control, currently only being played on Tuscan and Gav. I don't know how I feel about that. Tuscan, of course, sort of brilliant map. Tuscan is probably the best map in the game, I'd say. So happy with that. Gav, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see how that plays. We'll have to see where the control points are. I'm not going to knock it. I haven't actually played it yet, so I'll have to give it some game time first. But just in terms of the map, I'm not a big fan. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So what we'll do is we'll jump into control. On both of these modes, I'll just show you where the points are. So for control on Tuscan, the first spot that the attackers are going to have to try and capture is this side of P1. So by the looks of it, you can cap it from actually inside the point up here. Of course, you've got the Godheady over here as well to watch the push, and that extends all the way up to the pillar and even a little bit up here. So nice placement. I quite like this one. Can you cap it from on this wall? I believe you can. Yes, you can cap it from the wall as well if you want to watch that mid cross, and then of course again up high you can also capture that. So that is the point number one. That's the A point. And then the B point over here by P2, slightly larger than P2. I think P2 normally ends across sort of here, but here you can sit all the way up under here as well. Near enough P1 and P2 as the two locations on this map. Of course, you'll be defending from the other side, so the enemy team will probably be getting their spawns. You'd think maybe in the back here, or maybe towards the backfield side once you've captured A. It will definitely be a capture A first, then capture B. B will be the harder point to get. So you probably have to lock it down sort of from here, watching the back there, and then maybe the church push. Overall, on Tuscan, not too bad, quite like in the location of these points. And on Gav, the B point here is similar to, is it P3? I think it's P3, yeah. Near enough identical to P3, so the main capture point there is going to be inside the tank. Bear in mind that's I spawned on defense, so they'll actually be spawning in the back there. So this one is going to be quite close to their spawn potentially, so that could be quite hard to actually lock down. They'll be spawning in the deep back there, or probably over towards down the bottom P5 sort of area. That's my guess really for that one. But yeah, that's the B point there, near enough identical to P3. And then if we come across, we have the A point, which is again identical to P2 there at the bottom boat. So again, can you capture it on top of the tank? So yeah, you can capture it on top of this bit of the tank. But other than that, yeah, identical to where the P2 location is on Gav. As I mentioned earlier, not the biggest fan of Gav myself, but overall, it's not too bad as control points go. I think that B is going to be quite hard to capture, especially considering sort of how close you are to the spawn there. But then there's a bit of cover on the hill, so if you can chain together a few kills, especially if you've got someone top third watching your cross to point, I think you probably can sort of figure that out and capture B. But again, definitely as control was last year, I think it's going to be quite defense favoured, always tends to be. But yeah, excited to see how this plays out. We'll have to swim it a little bit, play it in our pro point matches, and then get a little bit of a feel about how I think about it. Now, the last thing we're talking about is the map veto process. There's been a little change to that. I'm not going to go through the map veto process. If you want to have that, if you want to have a look, just have a little read. The only thing that I have noticed, whether this is a mistake on the CDL part or whether this is intentional, I don't know, is that if you look at the mode order for a best of 5, you've got hardpoint, S&D, control, hardpoint, S&D. Fair enough. That's what you'd expect from a sort of a generic best of 5 series. Under the best of 3, it still says hardpoint S&D, S&D. I don't know whether this is intentional or whether this just hasn't been updated since the old rule set, because that's what the old rule set was. If you look at the Challengers Cups in Call of Duty Cold War, that was hardpoint S&D control. So perhaps that's a mistake. I'm assuming it probably is. But if not, potentially we could still be playing 2 S&Ds. But again, I think that's probably a mistake, and hopefully that will get corrected. But that is about it for today's video. I hope you guys found this one helpful. Let me know what your thoughts on the changes are. Did you like Desert Siege Hardpoint? Did you like Damansk S&D? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, what do you think about Control? What's your thoughts on it only being on 2 maps? That one, I think a lot of people have an opinion on. Perhaps maybe we should be looking at Berlin, maybe Bockage. I know Bockage had some issues when they were testing it originally, but maybe we can try and diversify the map pool a little bit so we can play it on a few more. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.